Hello, back with another VOD review. This is a Platinum Kiriko player. They made a bit of a post saying that they queued with the tank, that this was their first real time trying to review their own game, so they're asking for a bit of help. They note that they feel they could have been more aggressive with kunai usage. Sorry, the sound's too loud. Can't remember where my fucking buttons are, never mind. Alright. That they could have been more aggressive with kunai usage, that they have a bad habit of Suzuing immediately on TP, and that they're not really sure about positioning, so whether they should take more off angles or whether I guess they should be pocketing more. So I guess the answer to that really depends on like your team and their team. I mean, so I assume that you're the only Kiriko player in the lobby. I mean, already like on Circuit Royale, like the idea of like, should you be taking more off angles? I mean, I guess like this is like a very like linear like path. Like most maps in Overwatch have like a 3-path system. If we think about like Junkertown, for example, like you've got like the main path that goes through the middle, then you've got the side path around the left and the side path around the right for first point. This map like technically sort of has like side path, right? Like kind of like you can go through here. This is technically like one lane, and then this is technically like another lane. But like I mean, in my games, I don't see like too many people like come and take this angle, right? I don't see like it's not like too common for like a team to push through here. It's very much like a linear like this first point especially is like a single lane, more or less. I think this second point has obviously like a bit more options for like flanking, someone going up the side, someone taking an angle down below and going up to the staircase. But even then, like 90% of the action is still like happening in this area here. And then once you get to up here, like 90% of the action is still happening up here. Last but not least, you know, if you're holding close, then it's basically a one lane situation. Like an attacker might take an angle here, but for the most part, all the action is happening around this section here. And likewise, once you start holding this corner, you probably have someone up here, and then but most of the action is happening here with potentially like a split push, or the enemy team might attempt a rotation up high ground, which is obviously a good play if you're struggling to get around the corner. But this is all to say, like, this is not really like a map to take like tremendous amounts of off angles as Kiriko, right? It's not like, you know, it's not like Junkertown, it's not like, you know, Lijiang Tower and stuff where there's heaps of different angles and positions that you can play from. Like it's a far more linear map.
Hey there.
We'll just quickly change a couple of settings, get the interval timing right. Cool. Right, so you're seemingly playing with a Rhine and they're seemingly playing with a Sig. Obviously, this is more of a Sigma map, but Rhine does trade really well into the Sig, and you've got a speed boost for him as well. So they also have the dreaded Mercy Moira backline, which is the bane of all lobbies, in my opinion. So I feel like oh, okay, you're now on Doomfist. Doomfist is still really good into the Sig, to be honest. I think especially into their comp, like the only thing Sig needs to worry the only thing Doomfist needs to worry about is the Sigma Rock. So I think he's sitting pretty cozy, right? I mean, ultimately we're only shooting shield, but I guess like there's not much else to do right now. That's fine. Like we could throw some kunai onto the Genji. Now that you're running the Doomfist though, it does change the equation a little bit, because unlike say the Reinhardt or even the Sigma, Doomfist doesn't need as much pocket as like those two tanks. So potentially like what you'd already be looking to do is actually like rotate to this side here, jiggle peek for kunai hits, don't like stand out in the open, and then just watch for your Doomfist engage and see if you can like follow up. You're probably against their team comp, like you're not going to want to be like TPing into their back line to like Zuzu pocket your tank necessarily, unless like you're really confident that you're going to like frag out or you already have a player advantage, because obviously that would be kind of suicidal, but we'll see. I think so far this is, looking like crazy passive, not really making a contribution to the game at this point, a little bit of healing. I think your Ashe has the right idea, so you might potentially look at, again, jiggle peeking to here, and then potentially even like standing a little bit further back so that you can potentially pocket the Ashe while still giving pocket to your Doomfist and throwing some kunai in. If the Ash rotates up to here, then you might start taking this angle here. Because again, like your Doomfist, like the cart is going to walk around this corner. So coming up to here at some point could be a good option. At the moment, we're still like our contribution to this round has been effectively nil. You know, we've not really built any ult charge. We haven't done any meaningful damage. The Juno was more than capable of healing the Doomfist and a little bit of poke that he was taking. So this is so again, way too passive here, I think. And I see what you mean, like absolutely does not need a Zuzu there. You can just TP in and heal him. But again, it's like it's the poor positioning initially. Like, why are we standing up here? We don't need to stand up here. They don't have a Widowmaker. They only have like a Sojourn for long range poke. So like you should be pretty confident to sort of square up against their team comp and throw some poke out, because their supports don't deal any meaningful poke. The Genji's poke is like pretty avoidable. It's a relatively slow moving projectile at range. Like you're probably not going to struggle too much, and the Sig poke isn't going to be too much of an issue for you. So I think like with their positioning and with your Doomfist positioning, you take this angle initially and then you rotate over with the Ash. So we wouldn't have wasted TP Zuzu had we have just played from a better position initially. So going up here, I don't know if I really like it. The reason I don't really like it is that your Ash is still playing down there. So if your Ash takes poke, like what's your plan to go back? Like what, you have to like walk all the way back to here to heal, or you have to make a terrible decision and drop down here to heal, or you have to invest like a Zuzu. Again, I think it's still totally fine for us to just play on this angle this whole time. You could just peek back to heal the Ash. The other issue with playing up here is that once you actually get all the way up here where you've got a good line of sight, like if we think about it from like, where's the Sojourn playing from? Like the Sojourn's going to be standing here, right? You actually don't have any cover on either side of you. Like in order to get cover, you have to like walk back down the staircase. So you just take a bit of a like unnecessary risk coming up here, I think. You probably wouldn't die unless the Sig shot you at the same time as the railgun comes in, but it still doesn't really like, doesn't. And this feels like a terrible position to play from, right? Because if we think about it from the enemy team's point of view, there's just like a Kiriko standing here with no form of cover out in the open. Like high rank lobby, I think there's already like 3 people shooting you at this stage, right? Like you should instantly be getting looked at. And granted, there's probably only 3 people that can shoot you because they're again on Mercy Mora, which is a terrible, terrible backline. But realistically, like the Sig and the Sojourn should have immediately shifted to you. Maybe the Mora even throws an orb up at you, and then the Genji should be looking at you as well, because you look like a really easy target to shoot right now. They probably won't kill you because you should have cooldowns available, but if they can force you out and deny your value, then that's already good for them. So, all right, so they do start shooting you. It's a bit late, obviously. Like I think they could have done a better job of reacting and poking you out. I think we don't need to TP to a full health tank. Like he's in no danger of dying. Maybe you are just wanting to reposition, but you know, again, I feel like playing from here is just the answer, you know? All right, we don't want to like square up right now, to be honest. Like our Doomfist isn't in yet. So we're sort of like, I guess we're inside our Doomfist model, but it's sort of like we're walking in front of our tank into like this. Like why would we want to walk in front of our tank into a Genji who's in like right click range? Like he could probably combo you with like a right click dash melee or some shit like that. Like if he does a short dash where he aims at the ground. You've also got like a pocketed Sojourn looking at you. Like you don't need to like square up this close right now. The position I've said multiple times now is still the best position to play from. We're healing a wall. This is fine, I think, because you're moving from cover to cover and you know that the Doomfist is in. So the Doomfist is guaranteed to be pulling some aggro now. I don't think that you're aware at all of this Genji on top of both of your supports. I think you're going to become aware of it very, very soon. But in theory, the rotation to here is fine because you're still playing from a position of cover and you know that your Doomfist will be pulling aggro right now. So it is the right time to potentially step up. But maybe, you know, again, I think if we're playing from back here, then this Genji that's now in like lethal range to us is actually not in lethal range to us. We would know that he's there. We would see that he's there. And then as our Doomfist goes up, we would walk up and we would maybe start jiggle peeking this corner here, and looking at potentially helping our Doomfist on his way out. Because Doomfist has taken his turn now. Yeah, like he's gone in. He's presumably used both cooldowns at this point. Yep, so he's used both cooldowns. He's only got block left. So Doomfist's turn is now up, right? But he did what he needed to do on the turn. The Sigma was playing from here, and now the Sigma's backed up. The Sojourn was playing from here, and now the Sojourn's backed up. So he's taking his turn, and it's important to think of Overwatch as being turn-based sometimes. Like, you push your buttons, and then it's the enemy team's turn to push their buttons, and it's the easiest way to think about it, whether it's ultimates, cooldowns, positionings, whatever. You take your turn, they take their turn. Doomfist's turn is up. So there's no point in you like getting really aggro, like up in front of the car right now. Again, if we're playing from here, then we can walk up, we can support the Doomfist on his exit, and we can try and go for some poke damage. Genji's on her, so we're not aware of it, unfortunately. Again, if we played from the better positioning we would have been. We use our Zuzu. Probably doesn't feel great to use our Zuzu, but the Genji dies for his arrogance of thinking that he could dive on both supports when both of your hit scans are behind you. I also want to note that your Ashe has been low health for a while now. Not like 2 or 3 seconds, but like has been on low health for a while. So your Ashe kills the Genji. And I guess now is when you're going to like turn and look at them and give them some pocket. Let's hope that no one dies. So someone does die, which sucks. Again, like if we're playing from this position, that's where the Ashe was as well. Like you would have been able to pocket the Ashe, and I think that if the Ashe wasn't low health, then you would have given more heals to the Emre. I think Emre's death there is kind of on you. Having said that, the decision to shift heals onto the low health Juno does make sense. It's easier to keep your team alive with 2 supports than no supports, of course. And also because you didn't have Zuzu, so you didn't have Zuzu when he died. And the reason you didn't have Zuzu when he died to save the Emre and the Ashe, because a 2-man Zuzu, like, where did he die? A 2-man Zuzu, like right here, would have saved both players because it would give them instant heal up, give them invulnerability for half a second, and then you can give them some pocket, right? You didn't have Zuzu available because you had to self Zuzu because you weren't aware of the Genji. And you weren't aware of the Genji because you were too far forward at the start. I think this is fine, like we're obviously just in a reset period. I think it's fine to go for a few kunai there. Again, like we're taking this really passive angle, which I know that you've like highlighted in your own review of this game so far, but it's like from this position, you have one option, and that one option is heal. There's no meaningful damage that you can do. Okay, like the Sojourn did jump up there, and so you took a couple shots. I think you missed both shots. But again, if we're just playing from like a different angle, like it could be down here. Your Doomfist was playing around here. You could be healing your Doom from down here, throwing some poke out. And then if the Genji decides to like dash in to try and kill you, you can easily just TP back to any of these players, right? Like, so taking this angle here instead of standing up here while you're waiting for the Emre would probably be a good option. But in terms of where you are positioning during this fight, there's not really anything else that you can do other than just heal bot. So again, we're stepping up kind of aggressively. We're in this situation again. We get a kill, which is great, and they don't have res because they res the Genji before. But we're again in a situation where like we're walking directly into a Genji. I still feel like maybe playing from down here during this team fight after your Emre got picked might have been the play. But they are down 1, so now's the time to, they're down 2, so now's really the time to just walk now. If we dodge this rock, I think that the Ashe will be fine. Juno should heal her, yep. Where are we taking all this damage from? Is it the Genji? Oh yeah, okay. So we turn back to look at our team, and then a Genji just starts like right-clicking us. I feel like it's just like an awareness issue. I guess you're looking back to see if anyone like took a rock and needs help. But you know, like there's a Genji like on top of us, so we're not doing a very good job of keeping track of the enemy, which is concerning because there's actually only 3 players that you need to keep track of. And we die. Okay, yeah, that's pretty egregious. You know, it's possible that if you were playing from here, you might not have hit the Sojourn, right? Because you got a headshot body shot on him. I mean, in theory, you could do the same thing from down there. But again, like if we had slightly better positioning for this whole like phase of the team fight, I think that we're not dead to a Genji right now. I think we die to a Genji because we're playing from here where we actually like can't see the Genji because we're line of sighting ourselves with the cart. We look back, we don't notice the Genji, and we die for it. So your team should still pretty concisely win this team fight, I think. Yeah. And so you'll get space, you'll get value, but you could have gotten more. If you didn't die, I think that the enemy Sigma would have died, right? Because the Genji would have gotten cleaned up a lot sooner. These players could have been up instead of worrying about the Genji. They could have been up helping, and you would have gotten an additional kill on the Sig, which just gives you even more space on the map. Sig probably would have gotten the same respawn wave as Genji, but like Sig has a really slow walk back, right? So a kill on the Sig there would have been really valuable. And I feel like because you died, it made the Doomfist not be able to actually push up and get that kill. Arash is kind of popping off and gets a nice kill there. We Zuzu way too early. Why would we Zuzu now? Yeah, I don't really get that. Maybe you're like trying to time it with the flux lift. I don't know. I feel like you either TP out before the flux goes off, or you hold your Zuzu for the landing. Hey, because I feel like from your POV here with this flux, you don't know that nobody else is in the flux, right? Nah. You can only see two people on your screen. I'm assuming that you haven't memorized the locations of these two players. So I feel like the self-Suzu there seems like wrong and greedy. What if he did pick up your Juno? What if he did pick up your Ash, right? I feel like it's important to hold the Suzu for that, and you can just TP yourself out to save yourself. I think after that, Suzu, it's kind of like, it's obviously looking like it's a little bit heal body, but it's not too bad. I mean, keep in mind you can like throw a kunai between heals without like really losing any healing up time, right? So you heal like a few times in a row, but overall like this looks fine. There's no like major issue. I think like we take a little bit of a risk walking through the shield, but it's not a huge issue, and the self-Suzu there isn't a huge issue. There's no... Okay, I was going to say there's nothing that's going to happen in the next few seconds, but actually now he's dead. I don't know why that's there, replay glitch, but now there is something that's going to happen in the next few seconds. So you've wasted Suzu on yourself when you didn't really need it. You Suzu just for the sake of it, and then you've chosen to TP in, so you've now TP'd in with 0 cooldowns. Your team's all in the cart, obviously, so let's see how this works out. This should be a punish on you now. Again, like in any like higher ranked lobby, Akiri TP's basically into the enemy backline, like they're going to want to shoot you. They probably don't know that you don't have a Zuzu though. I think that's like good damage and good poke coming in. You do need to like play pretty careful because again, no cooldowns at the moment. You want to get out, it's too late. So honestly, if you didn't self-Zuzu at the cart, then that probably would have gone really, really well. I think successfully poked out the Mora, forced her out, and then you could have lived with Suzu instead of dying to the Sojourn. Then your TP was only like 1 second off when you died. You didn't feel still got value, but it would have gone so much better had you have not wasted your cooldowns. Cool. So they're bleeding. We're instant Suzuing. I don't hate that. Yep. We don't have TP, which is a bit of a bummer. I mean, I don't know that I would have rushed if I was you, because you'd sort of like... I guess the issue is the TP, right? Like... Yeah, I guess the issue is the TP there. Like... You're close anyway. I feel like you could just walk this corner and then just start healing people from here. I don't know that you like, in general, like you want to try and avoid TPing into an unknown situation. Like, yes, you can see that you have 4 teammates there, but at this point you don't know the location of the enemy team. I feel the main thing that went wrong here is that you didn't have a TP to get away from the damage boosted blade, right? So you have to Zuzu straight away. You know, I feel pretty strongly that you could have just like walked the corner, healed from here, and then walked up. And then if you did that as well, and the Genji still blades from the same location, assuming that he didn't blade because he'd seen your TP come out, which would have been a good call from the Genji, then you would actually just Kitsune Rush here. Like you would walk the corner, start healing, then you Kitsune Rush here. It'll deny out the value from the blade. In an ideal world, like yeah, you Kitsune Rush up here to get even more space, but like if you're trading blade plus mercy ult for Kitsune Rush, I think like you're feeling like pretty fine for that, right? Like it should secure the team fight win for you, or at least it should be a positive resource trade for your team. If the Genji hard commits, then you'll probably kill him, and if he doesn't, then you traded 1 ult for 2. But yeah, because we've TP'd into an unknown situation, we get punished for it pretty hard. There's also like some scope maybe for the Juno to use ult, but you know, you can't control what your teammates do. You can only control what you do, right? So I think it was poor play from you to TP into a block of players where you have no idea where the enemy team is at. Nobody on your team was like desperately low that they needed like an instant TP to help them. Cool. I'm glad we like shift targets. Like there's really not much to gain from just throwing like kunai at the shield. It's not meaningful enough damage. So we want to make sure that we're throwing our kunai on like higher value targets. So you shift to the high ground, which is good. You said that this game ended up being a draw. That's interesting. Don't see too many draws on Escort. It goes for 24 minutes, and I feel like we've already been going for like 15 minutes because there's been a lot to unpack. So I think I don't like this one. I don't like this Kitsune Rush because it's too hard to get value. So in the team fight before, where there was a Mercy Pocket, Mercy ult with the blade, this Kitsune Rush positioning would have made sense because it really denies out the Genji's ability to get value. I think like it would be really hard for the Genji to kill people inside the Kitsune Rush with everyone shooting faster, moving faster, and you guys like having higher healing output just from being able to like, you know, shoot faster, heal faster. Whereas this one feels a lot less valuable because the Kitsune Rush only goes up to the cart. These players are already on the higher ground, so there's only like really one person on your team, Doomfist, who can easily access this high ground. Otherwise, it's just your hit scans trying to shoot up. But you know, obviously they've got cover here, and they can always just like de-peek and like crouch and move back to this cover or this cover if they needed to, right? This Kitsune Rush doesn't feel great. Obviously, it sucks that your Juno also overlaps their ult, but again, like we can't control what our teammates do. We can only control what we do. This is not a good Kitsune Rush. In this situation, like it would have been substantially better to like move up to here and potentially like rush this angle, or potentially like it would be difficult to swing this wide and rush this angle. At some point, this high ground does need to be cleared. Like this is a big threat to your team, but that needs to be like your Doomfist that's primarily worrying about that, plus maybe your hit scan shooting up a bit. It's a really hard Kitsune Rush to get value on, I think. If we go back a bit, I feel like the whole like positioning during this fight doesn't feel especially good, right? So we immediately see a Surgeon up there. So again, we know that they're pocketed as well. So there's a high threat of like a pocketed railgun headshot here. And we're sort of like just standing out in the open. So there's no good cover. And we're also like jumping, which, you know, I'm not sure if you've ever had this advice or not, but for the majority of characters in the game, like jumping against like hit scans is like not a good option, because the jumping makes your movement more predictable on like the way, once you get like halfway up and then the way down, it's like a predictable pattern, right? Whereas if you're just AD strafing and focusing on AD strafing, it's a bit harder. But like from the enemy Sojourn's point of view, like I think obviously the Juno looks like a more tempting target, to be fair, because she's closer, bigger hitbox because she's closer, easier to shoot at. But you're also just kind of like in like no man's land, like, and you're not really throwing like any kunai for meaningful damage. So like, could we not just like jiggle peek this corner? Or if all you want to do is heal bot, which is mostly what you're doing, could we not just jiggle peek this corner for the heal bot? And then potentially we can we can peek around here and try and throw some kunai at the players who are in this sort of area here, right? I don't really like to see you just standing out in the open with like no cover anywhere. Again, I think this rush is like just simply too far back to be like particularly valuable in this situation. I would say if you were playing here, like I think it's still really difficult. Like you wouldn't want to rush up the stairs because it's not really much of a difference. But I think potentially if you were able to play this corner at the start and then rotate this form of cover, hopefully help force out the Genji, then potentially you can get to this position and rush. And then all you really need is just your Doomfist to clear this high ground, and then you guys are sitting like really cozy, really comfy to win this team fight, I think. Because your team has a massive ult advantage. Like this is your team fight to win. Like you have 5 ults and they have 2 ults. And Coalescence is kind of like dog shit. Especially against your team comp where like I feel like your team's just way too survivable to die to a Coalescence. So yeah, it would be pretty terrible to lose this team fight, but we've used 3 ults and no ults so far. We're also like backstepping in out. So we've used Kitsune Rush and Juno Ray, and I'm seeing you backstep right now. Maybe it's to like heal the Ashe, but like it doesn't feel good to backstep when you have 2 really powerful support ults on the field, right? We're also like just heal botting way too much. People are full health. That's good. Throw some kunais, do some damage. You know what? I would actually TP up there to him. I would like genuinely TP up there to him right now. I guess you could also walk line if you want to hold your TP, but like go up there and help him. You know that he's fighting 2 people. This is an important fight. He has to win this fight. I guess like your DPS just get it done anyway, but I would say that your contribution to like this situation is like pretty low, right? Kitsune Rush is worn off by now. Kind of didn't really do any healing there. You missed your kunais, yeah. I think an opportunity to like give a bit more pocket to the Emre, but ultimately your team ended up using 4 ults to no ults for a team fight win. So economically, like that's really, really bad, right? Like I think honestly, like maybe your ult plus Bob, especially if Bob manages to get into your ult, would have been like sufficient for that. We can't control what our teammates do, but I feel like if you get a better Kitsune Rush, maybe your team doesn't waste the extra ults. Also, potentially if you held your Kitsune Rush until you did get to this position, put it this way, like your Juno might have actually already ulted by that stage because you'd ulted from all the way back here. So then you would think, all right, well, my Juno's ulted and my Ashe is ulted, so I'll probably just like not use my ult now because we've used 2. Like, let's see what value we can get off this before I invest my own. Because it would be really nice to have a Kitsune Rush to like seal the deal and push this card in here now. One of the key things for this fight is obviously going to be the Emre ult. Like they have a good ult swing coming up. Having said that, we did just kill their Sojourn, but there's a chance that the Sig can stall with some touches from the Genji for a while as well. Potentially with the Moira pocket through Coalescence as well, because Coalescence it's not much damage. It's only like 70 damage, but it's 140 healing. I think those numbers are right. They might be out of date, but it's substantially more pocket. So I could see a world in which they can stall. So we want to make sure that when our Emre does push Q, that we're actually actively looking at him and ensuring that he gets the pocket he needs. We don't want him to get blown up by the Sojourn. Alright, you can throw a kunai right now. Yep, okay, we missed, but it's fine because we took the shot. You won't hit them all. Alright, your Juno needs a Zuzu. Your Juno needs a Zuzu. Your position is not okay to get the Juno or Zuzu. That's a bit of a bummer. Maybe like if we react slightly faster to give her like healing in the air because Ashe wasn't getting shot at anymore, she might have potentially survived like the impact, and then you could TP Zuzu to save her from the Sig's follow-up damage. But overall, like I think your positioning during this fight is like pretty much okay, right? I think you probably just slightly over-pocketed an Ashe who is now fine. Like I get that she's low health, but it's important to also recognize like who is and isn't getting shot at, right? So like instead of throwing this heal to the Ashe here, if we throw the heal to the Juno, I'm confident that Juno survives the initial impact And then there's an opportunity for you to potentially TP Zuzu to save her from the follow-up damage, because she'd probably land with like less than 50 health, but she wouldn't die on impact, whereas here she dies on impact. We still have Zuzu available. It's unacceptable for this player to die. We completely miss our Zuzu. We get the cap because they ultimately, I suppose they don't truly C9. I think our Doomfist pushed them out. And you're the one pushing the cart, so that's good. But yeah, I was a bit worried you were going to let him die.
I feel all warm inside.
We might just like get the cart up till, because I think that this corner here is one of the hardest ones to take. So this team fight's already lost. We'll skip ahead a bit to the next one. We'll watch this one, and then we'll watch a little bit on defense. So our team has regrouped. We're all here. All right, it's still not a proper team fight because we're staggering. Let's try and watch one actual genuine team fight. So your Emre's dead at the moment, so we're waiting. You want to ult. So for your ult here, we pretty much just want to run it down the guts here. Playing from up here is safe for now, but if you want to run an ult down the guts from high ground, your only real option is to come up here and cast it down, but that means that like your team can't really play into it very well because they'll have to get to about here, right? Yeah, about here until they actually start benefiting. So we actually do like realistically want to like come down to this corner once our Doomfist takes a bit of space and then ult, but obviously we wouldn't do it now. Even if Emre was here, we still wouldn't do it now because it's unsafe for you to just drop in front of 4 people. So we'll see how you use the ult here. But the go sign will be as soon as your Doomfist engages and the enemy team starts looking at him, you'll want to be down there to use a Kitsune Rush. I think pocket on the Ash here makes sense. That's all good. I think that's fine, that's fine. Oh, that looks really good. I mean, it turns out that like 2 people die sort of, well, one's dead and then a second one dies as you push Q. So in the end, like your ult isn't needed, but like I genuinely think the Ana died like the millisecond that you pushed Q. So like I can't really like fault you for the ult. I'm sure I would have done the same thing. But you use your ult from the right position at effectively the right time, the information that you had. You didn't know that the Ana was about to die. So it looked pretty good. So we do need to push the cart, it's true. But we're sort of in a situation where like maybe we want to push the cart from like the back end of the cart where we can still throw kunai, but we have a little bit more natural cover. Like it comes back to the situation of like where's your next form of natural cover. I think like one thing you should always think about when playing support and DPS as well, to be honest, and I guess even tank, is like Diva Bomb theory. How close am I to cover? So Diva Bomb theory is basically like if a Diva Bomb was launched at me right now, where would I go? What's my closest form of cover? Obviously, when you're playing like Kiriko, you have the option of like TPing and stuff like that. But I think you should always think about it. Obviously, there's no Diva on the enemy team, but it goes for it goes for Emre ult, it goes for High Noon, it goes for Visor, it goes for like Overclock, like anything that anything that you need to DP, right? And I feel like you don't quite like meet the Diva Bomb theory test right now. Like let's be like here, or let's be like on the staircase behind the cart so we can like choose this cover, choose the cart cover, choose that cover, right? The other option, which could potentially be even better, because although pushing the cart is important, you've already got someone pushing the cart. I wouldn't mind seeing you like TP up here. Excuse me. If you're up here, you can still heal them. You can give the Ashe some pocket. You are so much safer from everyone on the enemy team because there isn't a single player that has instant high ground access on their team. I mean, other than like Sig maybe levitating up, I'm not sure if he can levitate up that high or not. But like even the Moira, like, I don't know, I guess Moira can probably fade jump up there, but if the Moira fade jumps into you, it's not a high threat, especially if the Ashe is there, right? So I would love to actually see you come up here. If you are stubborn enough to push the cart, then you need to push it from the back end of the cart, but otherwise just go take that position with Moira. Especially now. Oh. The Zuzu timing is good. They die, which is a bummer. So we do TP up. I think potentially if we're up here, the fight probably still goes badly, to be honest, because I think ultimately they came out with the nano turn, so they took their turn. The rock was landed, the anti-nade was landed. Juno was mispositioned there, right? Juno was sort of in the same positioning that I criticized you for. She ultimately just dies standing on top of the cart with no form of like good cover around because she's not like standing behind the cart. She's standing on top of it. So you can see like how easily you get punished for those sorts of plays. Right, I think we'll skip ahead to some defense and then we'll wrap it up in about 5 minutes. So we're playing into Malga. Okay, we must have lost this first fight really badly. Oh, we're playing Ryan. Okay, cool. So no one's dead at the moment. We've obviously had to give a bit of space, but that's fine. Okay, we don't seem to be aware at all of this Reaper, so how did we get to a situation where there's a Reaper in effective range and we don't know about it? Okay, we don't need to TP up because it's like a meter away, right? Like if we want to go up, we can just like wall climb up, or we can just like take this wider angle. What are they running? They're running no hit scan at all anymore, and a really like short range backline. So there's literally no threat for you to just walk along here and go up there. Like there's no Widow, there's no Ashe, there's no Sojourn. You can just walk. Like you don't need to use TP there. Don't waste your cooldown for nothing, right? These players are not desperate for heals. They can wait like 1.5 seconds. I'm still like, did he TP onto you? Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, so we see the TP animation there. I think you must have heard it because you react and turn around. We missed the Zuzu completely. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's just the same as like the first point, right? Because of our poor positioning, that's what led to the Ashe dying. We don't need to TP up. Had we have taken this walking angle over to here, then we would have been in a better position when that TP came through, right? We wouldn't have had the TP straight on top of us. We would have been like down here in a position where we can heal up. We would have seen the Reaper coming from a mile away, and we probably would have reacted a lot better and potentially not had our Ashe die by missing the Zuzu. So Ryan dies, that's a bummer. Nothing you can do. All right, so you've made a decision to TP deep, but this fight is lost, right? So there's two options. Like, I mean, you are either running away then, or you're choosing to die. And if you're choosing to die, then you need to die quickly because your team needs to take another fight. So every single second that you delay your death right now is an additional second that this cart is going to get pushed before your team resets. Your entire team just needs to die. You and Genji should literally jump off the map because the cart is too far away for you to stall it. If the cart was like here in this situation, then you would actually just like move towards the cart, die on the cart. And even though you're getting staggered, if you stop the cart from pushing for 2 seconds, then that's fine. Getting staggered for 2 seconds, but stopping cart progress for 2 seconds is like an even trade. It's not a huge problem. But like you need to die like as soon as possible if you think that you are going to die. So your Juno's gotten out. Can you TP out? Or is it too late for you? It's too late for you. Maybe not. Maybe you can still do it. Oh, that's very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. In the end, your whole team gets out, and that's fantastic. I'm glad that like no one got really staggered. I didn't think Juno was going to make it out then, but obviously I didn't know she had speed ring, and I should have been keeping track of that in the review. We don't need to Zuzu this. He's deflecting, so, and there's no beam damage other than Amora, who is by the looks of it on the cart, so we don't need to Zuzu this. I could tell what you were doing before you did it, but not a good Zuzu. Alright, we give some pocket to our Cass. Looking for a little bit of damage. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. This is think about your angle right now, dude. Like, yeah, I think you need to think a lot more about like how many angles of fire can I take? Because yes, like we've just killed one and 2 actually, right? Because Malga died. Yeah, we've just killed 2, but like it's not really like great if you get traded here. So while these 2 probably won't kill you, it feels a bit reckless to just like take this like full angle right now. like what happens if they both shoot you? What happens if Mizuki gets a I forget what the ability is called, and I was going to call it a right click, but I've bound it to right click, the chain thing. What if he gets a chain on you, Mora orbs you and right clicks you, and Reaper turns around and gets one shot? You will die. Now, the Reaper probably dies as well, so it ends up being an okay trade, but like, you know, why feed if you don't need to? Like, do you need to play from here? Can you not do the same thing from back here where you're not in line of sight? Because you're standing on this position anyway. You can still heal these players from back here without exposing yourself to other players. I think you always need to think about like where you can take poke from. Because although this fight is like, it's locked in, it's won. Like I don't see any possibility that your team loses this fight and loses the objective right now. Just generally speaking, like you want to minimize the amount of poke that you're taking, because one, it limits your ability to take a turn and to make aggressive plays, but also the more poke you take, the more the Juno potentially has to heal you, which pulls heals away from the other 3 players on the team. And in an ideal world, we want to be shoving heals up these guys' asses while you guys take as little damage as possible, right? It's just like a misplay that won't get punished and won't be like a major issue, but ultimately not great to see. And we're just in melee range to a Reaper right now. I don't think that you're like high enough ranked to know that he doesn't have ult, and he's pretty close anyway. What if you pushed Q? Right? What if he just turned around and shot you twice and the Juno doesn't react in time? It's just like not the best positioning, right? And is the Reaper not still directly behind you? No, he's TP'd out. Okay, cool. Never mind. But did you know he'd TP'd out, or did you just like turn your back to a Reaper that you know is like ineffective range to you? Do we see him TP out? He hasn't TP'd yet. Okay, he's starting to TP now. I don't know. I don't like that at all, right? Alright, we'll watch like one more fight and then we'll wrap it up. Nice little dinks there. This is good. This is good. I think your aim is really bad, right? But like the only way to get better aim is to practice and to go for the opportunities to hit damage. So like you're doing a good job of trying to get poke in now. Like this is fine. This isn't like too heal body. It's not too passive. I think your positioning here is like perfect. Genuinely like could not fault it at all. Like maybe sometimes I would like take this angle for slightly more aggressive, because you've got like as they start to fall back from here, like your angle tightens up. Like here could be good as well, but ultimately like you're not exposing yourself to any meaningful threats. You can see everyone on your team that needs to be seen, and you have like good natural cover, good angle to get some damage in. I think the only thing would be like you would want to like slowly rotate to that left position instead. But I mean, even here, you could TP in here. Like, you know that they've just killed 2. There's a speed ring. Maybe you don't even need to TP. You can just walk through the speed ring. But yeah, I guess that's why I was thinking TP could be good, because you'd want to TP to like the rear player, which at the time was the Doomfist. He's deeper than the Genji now, but you could have TP'd to the Doom when he was here, potentially save the Genji. Like, we don't want to take too many trades here. I don't think you would have been punished by doing that realistically. Because I think that the enemy team is absolutely in like fallback mode right now. Maybe the Genji tries to counter dive you, but Juno would be right behind you. So yeah, having said that, I don't think that losing a Genji will be too punishing, because I think that he'll be back long before the next fight happens, unless your Doomfist takes a really, really forward fight. Okay, we throw some kunai, that's good to see. Help him get the kill. Nice, very nice. This looks fine. I just want to skip ahead and just for my own curiosity, like you said it was a draw. So your team, they must C9, right? Did they C9? Doesn't look like they're about to C9. Oh my god, they C9. That's crazy. I mean, by rights, obviously you lost the game, right? But like, this Malga just like suddenly lost control of his hands and keyboard or something. I don't know. He like chose to, I mean, that's a choice right there, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think like heaps and heaps that you can work on better, right? It's about like taking slightly wider angles. I know at the start of this review, I said this isn't like a wide angle map, and like compared to other maps, like, you know, like taking this angle on defense, taking this angle is not a wide angle at all, right? But you're taking like these really like on attack, you know, like you're up here, it doesn't make sense. Like you're down here, it doesn't make sense. Like take these slightly wider angles, and really think a lot about like how many enemies can see me and like what's my positioning right now. Like you don't want to be opening yourself up to more than like 1 or 2 sight lines from the enemy at a time, right? Ideally 1 if you can manage it, but sometimes 2. Your Zuzus, yeah, like you said, are pretty bad. Some of your Kitsune rushes, like the Kitsune rush attacking 3rd was sort of like excellent, right? This is perfect. But the other Kitsune rushes, pretty mid, pretty mediocre. Yeah, look, I think that's probably heaps to work on for now. The main thing is obviously positioning, aim, and then not wasting your cooldown. So like, you know, not TPing up to these players on defense here when you could just like take this angle and walk up, where you could potentially like wall climb up here if that's what you really want to do. Obviously taking this angle and going up there is safer, but we do see you sort of TP unnecessarily a lot of times. Hopefully this helps. Good luck.